Right then folks, welcome back to another episode of the Liverpool Complete Playthrough. Of course, last time out, or in the last couple of episodes if you missed them, they've been quite important, quite pivotal. 2 wins then, one over Manchester United, one over Manchester City, a 2-1 and a 3-2, and all of a sudden our league form is picking up. We're on a 6-match unbeaten run, which, I mean, they make it sound better than it is in reality, don't they? Wins against United and City, but then draws against Swansea, Hull, Stoke and Watford. And you realise that what I'm actually doing is just replicating Liverpool in real life, where against the top 6 sides, we might be quite good. Against anybody else, we struggle under the pressure. It now leaves us 9th in the Premier League. We'll come to a league game a little bit later on. First of all, though, a EFL Cup game against Newcastle in the 4th round, in which we're going to try and play a rotated side. Hopefully get a few youngsters involved as well, and see what we can do with that then. As we continue forward, it's going to be interesting to see how a second side approached the new way of playing. I think playing with a central point, a central focus, is probably the best thing to do. It seems to be what you lot think is the same thing to do as well. James Milner wants to talk about not getting first team football. I'll speak to James. Hi James. Emre Can's brilliant. Okay, that was as easy as that. Now it's going to be interesting to see how we do against the Newcastle side. I don't know how seriously they'll take it. Of course, a championship team. We'll see how they're doing in the championship quickly before we carry on. So they're 3rd in the championship, 9 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. They haven't got a top goal scorer, but Lazar seems to be playing well for them at left back, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. I mean, as their left back, he shouldn't be too much of a problem. It really is going to depend who they come up against. Now, it kind of makes me think that we should play someone slightly better in that role. Maybe keep Sadio Mane then in the side for the game against Newcastle as we continue through getting quite a lot of scout reports. Interesting, a few players here that we could maybe go for. None jumping out at me. Obviously, Ward-Prowse is one we looked at in the summer. May go back in the January for Ward-Prowse if it makes sense. But I think midfield-wise, we're pretty stacked at the moment. And because of the system change, we now have a lot of attacking midfielders doing the same thing. Now, Katie Builday's actually out for 11 days with a twisted knee. I do believe he went off in the game we played last time out, which means there's a change of system and a change of personnel, which we were going to do anyway, of course. So Shea Ojo is going to come in on that left-hand side. We're going to play Adam Lallana through the middle with Divock Origi leading the line. On the right-hand side, as mentioned, I think we're going to start with Sadio Mane. Might be a game I would have played someone like Javier Pastore in, give him the game time. In central midfield then, we've got Shan and Henderson in there for now. I think Wijnaldum comes in for Emre Can, and then we'll play Milner, who is complaining about a lack of football next to him. That sort of front 6 there, in my opinion, still pretty solid. Karius is going to come in for Mignolet at the back, winning goal, of course. Joe Gomez is going to get a game today alongside Dejan Lovren. Nice to play Joe Gomez finally, as he's available and fit to play. Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, and then at left back we'll bring in Alberto Moreno. Luckily, all of these players are, generally speaking, fit enough to play. Joe Gomez is probably the only real concern. Everyone else should be fine and able. Lucas will bring onto the bench as well. Marco Grujic is an interesting one. I think we'll put him on the bench instead of Jordan Henderson. May well feature at some point either in a midfield role or maybe slightly further forward. He's quite a presence in there, so we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, we're going to try and hope the second team perform as well as the first team. The only, as I mentioned, the only player sticking in there is Sadio Mane. If their best player is a left back, I want to put our best player up against them. I think that's probably the most logical thing to do. So let's see how we get on then. Newcastle in the 4th round of the EFL Cup. It's a game that I'd expect us to win, but I do expect Newcastle to be decent opposition. They're probably obviously a team in form, doing well in the league. We are favourites for the game though. Let's see then. Are they playing a strong side? They've got Rolando Aarons on the right hand side, Perez, Mitrovic and Atsu. So that front 4 is probably good enough to be a Premier League front 4 in my opinion. And across the whole side actually, they're playing quite a decent team. Colback's in there and Bemba's there against, they've got some decent players. A team, as I say, we should be wary of, and hopefully we will be. We're going to continue to play this more attacking style. I think that's fair to say. We're not trying to dominate games. We're not trying to boss them. We're trying to score more goals. And it's something that quite a few have been critical of. Rightly critical of, right? I understand that if I'm trying to say, why aren't I scoring goals and I'm not playing players attacking, that's of course what people will jump to. But as I say, total football gone wrong. We could have called the first sort of 7 episodes of this. First 8 or 10 episodes of this, let's face it. Right, let's see how we get on then. This Liverpool side should be good enough to beat Newcastle. I think it is good enough to beat Newcastle, and I think we will beat Newcastle. Of course, Wijnaldum and James Milner, the pair of them, playing against their former club here. So we'll see how we get on at St James's Park. I don't know, under the lights in a midweek fixture. Of course, we've got Middlesbrough coming up as well. We're going to have to see how we get on, though, in this game. I think if we get an early goal, we're probably going to have the best of it. It's whether we get that early goal, and if we don't get it, what do we do from that point onwards? Start the standard fluid. I will be going attacking in the second half, especially as we're not really creating anything at all so far. Of course, change of personnel will often mess things up a little bit. That's why most teams, you'll see this in real life as well, obviously, will play a rotated side, but will try and keep a core of their first team players in the squad. We've got players to come on if needs be. Coutinho, Shan's there as well, Firmino. So if we need to make changes, we can do. This game really is about keeping the whole squad happy and fit at the same time, while having a good enough team to progress through. And I think this team is good enough to progress through. So team talk's gone all right, relatively happy. I mean, that's quite nice in the way that it's gone sort of blank green, blank green, blank green. I quite like that. Right, second half underway. First half, not much happened. We didn't get a single highlight in the first half, which is, well, a little bit boring, isn't it? A little bit sad. Newcastle had the best of it, though. Something to be made aware of. Apparently, Yedlin is getting too much space. We'll keep an eye on that. If a chance comes from that, of course, we'll probably make a switch of sorts. As the ball's headed on, Joe Gomez's header isn't that good, and our Hayden brings it forward. Lallana nips in there, though, as you'd probably expect, and cleans up the damage. Alberto Moreno forward to Ojo, who's very quick, very pacey. I think we've seen him get an assist already so far this season, but he's run off the ball there as the ball's played forward. Lovren heads on, and Colback finds a man in the middle, Mitrovic, who, again, had a poor season for Newcastle in real life, didn't he, in that Premier League season he had since moving from Belgium. But actually, I think he's a decent player. Plays it forward towards Alberto Moreno, who doesn't deal with it, and Rolando Aarons strikes home. I mean, I don't know what Alberto Moreno's doing. Well, I do know what he's doing. Absolutely piss all. He's doing absolutely nothing to defend that. The ball looks pretty hospital. It didn't look like a particularly good ball, actually. I mean, we'll keep our eyes on Moreno. At this point there, right, how on earth is Rolando Aarons beating Alberto Moreno to the ball? Like, what does Moreno think's going to happen? And all of a sudden, he's nipped in front. Moreno just hasn't gone to the ball. And Rolando Aarons has had a strike. Karius, I mean, could he deal with that better? Potentially. Half an hour to go, though. Newcastle take a lead. And again, against a side that you're expecting us to probably beat and dominate the game, it's just not happening. We will make some changes very, very soon. In fact, what we're waiting for, really. Wow, so many things we could do here. We'll bring Coutinho on for Ojo on that left-hand side. Swap him and Lallana around. In fact, we'll play Lallana as an inside forward for the remainder of the game. We'll keep him out there, though. He needs the game time. We'll also bring Firmino on up top. I'm basically bringing on the two Brazilians, which if you saw Liverpool at the weekend, you'll know that's exactly what they did, and it worked against Stoke, wasn't it? So can we now bounce back and get ourselves a win? Because as of right now, I mean, if this goes to extra time, that's very, very frustrating. So we're hoping we can get a goal before that. As Karius launches it forward, up towards Firmino, who misses out. But Wijnaldum will bring it down and play it into Coutinho. Lallana now playing as the inside forward on that side. Not the quickest, so they'll probably prefer that. As Coutinho, well, it looked to me like Coutinho took a bit of a dive. Colback's been called over, already on a booking. This could be a huge moment in the game with 25 or so minutes left to go if you include a bit of injury time. Colback, the referee's made a very long walk over to him, brings out the yellow card, and that is a second yellow card for Jack Colback, who is removed from the field of play. And not only that for Newcastle, it could get much worse. Coutinho in a dangerous area, only a two-man wall. Coutinho decides to chip it in. Why would you? Coutinho, ball in again, and Bemba clears, and Rolando Aarons brings it away. I mean, shoot, mate. Why would you not shoot from there? It's about 15 minutes left to go. Right, let's have a think about this, see if we can make things happen. We're trying to exploit the flanks. It's not happening so far. We'll try and clear the ball out there as well. We've obviously got Mane out there who hasn't produced that much. We'll put him on an attack roll, keep him up there as a problem. We'll also bring Emre Can in for Wijnaldum, who's obviously a bit more natural in there and probably has got a little bit more fitness. He's played a lot more games, so you'd hope he'd have a bit more game fitness. Coutinho, ball in towards the back post, rising for it. Lovren's going to bring it under control. Back to Coutinho, perhaps. There's lots of men in the middle unmarked, and he picks one out. Emre Can, well, it fell to Firmino, who I thought kicked it against the back of Lovren. I think it's actually been saved, maybe, or just deflected wide. Looks a little bit strange. Coutinho, though, another corner. Played in, not the best of corners, it has to be said. Firmino brings it down and Coutinho will be in space and finds him. Coutinho then, ball back to Roberto Firmino again, headed clear by Hayden. And we've got to start applying pressure now. For the rest of this game, we need to make an issue of this and try and get an equaliser and then hopefully a winner. Emre Can from 20 yards. Emre Can with a great finish from 20 yards out. You bring him on, he scores the goal. He's celebrating wildly. I don't know what that is. But back in the game, 1-1, 10 minutes to go. Newcastle down to 10. This is suddenly turning around a little bit as Milner then pulled it back for Emre Can, took one touch, looked at his target and found his target. 1-1 then. Lovely stuff. I mean, it's been a very, very even game between the two teams, and that red card has no doubt affected Newcastle. As the time continues to ebb away, will there be a goal before we go to extra time? I could do without extra time. I mean, this is the reason we played a fully rotated side. I didn't want to have other players out there that might feature in the upcoming game against Middlesbrough. Of course, we've brought players on, but fitness-wise, they look okay. They look like they could deal with another half an hour. Keep going out there. You can still win tonight. Karius looks switched off. Everyone else seems relatively pleased. That's the kind of team talk I think will give the team more encouragement based on the fact of what's just happened and the way that we've got ourselves back in the game. To now say, look, we can go and win this is probably the best thing to do. It's interesting. I could play a little bit more attacking based on the fact they've got a man sent off. Let's see where that man has been sent off. So they've done away with this left-hand side, or the right-hand side, our left-hand side, of course, which should give us a bit of an advantage out there. But they're coming forward. Well, Trent Alexander-Arnold takes it off him and launches the ball forward. I mean, there's nothing on. So it seems peculiar. Great save by Elliott. I mean, that was goal-bound. I don't know what that was. Long throw-in. Intercepted by Roberto Firmino, and, well, Lascelles has also been booked so far, and Lascelles is going to get a talking to from the referee. That ominous walk towards him, we've seen it once before in this game. It looks like it's going to be a second yellow and a second red card for Newcastle. Now, he's been sent off as well. 9 men. Rafa Benitez, obviously playing against Liverpool, has got a job to do now. I mean, if we don't win this in normal time or in extra time, then that is a problem in itself. They've got 9 men. They've had another player booked there. Discipline issues all over at Newcastle. I mean, look at this. This is a game that we should no doubt win now. In fact, with that in mind, we're going to push Moreno and Alexander-Arnold on a little bit, hopefully to put just even more pressure, keep the ball pinned in to the Newcastle half. There's 20 minutes to go. This is a game that now, if we don't take it in extra time, questionable, isn't it? Very questionable if we don't take it. Why aren't we taking it? As we're actually in the second half of extra time. I mean, we're at the halfway point of extra time. That's what I'm trying to say. Can we get this all-important winner? The 50 minutes to go. I would love to get it now. Coutinho then. Corner. Played in. Strange that the highlights are always set pieces at the moment. Shan heads it back. Lovren heads it down. James Milner plays it to Roberto Firmino, who finds the back of the net. And the second half substitute finds the goal. 2-1 to Liverpool. A game, as I say, we should be winning at this point. Firmino gets it, though. It's one thing to say we should win it. It's another to actually win it. Haven't I found that out this season? As Milner then. Little switch back to Firmino, who's not really marked. I mean, you think about how many men we've got in the middle there. How many is that? If we just quickly pause it, we've got 8 men there. They've only got 7, so that tells its own story. They must have had a guy closing down. And good, very good. To consider that this is a rotated side, the substitutes have come on and got both goals actually, Shan and Firmino, which all in all should be a good sign for us in terms of fitness. That's what we wanted. Lovren plays it back to Moreno. This should be game over. I mean, even now Lovren's pushed up. They clear it. Nobody there. Newcastle 1. Slightly unfortunate to have 2 men sent off. Liverpool 2. And we come away. We scrape through a little bit, but a win's a win. And it sets us up nicely now. 3 wins in a row. We play Middlesbrough in the Premier League. And with our new system, our new formation, hopefully that'll serve us well. Sadio Mane, sadly though, has picked up a dead leg. Will be out for 1 to 2 days. May well miss the game against Newcastle. It'll be a question mark over whether we start him or not. I think Adam Lallana might be the option on that side. Benitez has suggested his team have to become the latest victims of a controversial decision. We'll just let our assistant deal with Rafa Benitez's questions. So yeah, a bit unfortunate for Newcastle. If we look at the teams that have gone through, is there going to be a draw soon? Yeah, draw on Friday, so we'll continue forward towards that. Newcastle not happy. I don't know if it was the first or the second one. I think that the first one looked a little bit more like a dive from Coutinho, just based on what we saw in the 3D, right? But it's hard to tell. Middlesbrough coming up. That's going to be an interesting game. We'll first of all focus on the draw, and then we'll focus on Middlesbrough. Of course, this is a double episode because we had a cup game, for those that might be confused. Here we are then. The EFL Cup quarter-final draw. Some big names left in it. Manchester United, Arsenal, Spurs still in there. And as I see, Norwich, Cardiff there too from the Championship, which is always nice. Okay then. Spurs will play West Ham. London derby there. Norwich will come up against Liverpool. Okay then. 2 teams have obviously managed on Football Manager before. Manchester United, Arsenal, which is just what we wanted to see. And Cardiff, Southampton will be left over then. So an away trip to Carrow Road for us, and that'll come relatively soon, in between the Chelsea and Arsenal games, which breaks that up nicely, actually. That's quite good for us. Right, continuing forward. 1 game down, another one to go. Middlesbrough, as we have to save the game. So far, so good, though. I'm enjoying this. Nice little win. I mean, it took longer than expected. But, yeah, thank you for watching this series. I'll say why this is saving. Thank you for watching this series. It is very different from the normal sort of cut-up series I do. But if you're still watching at this point, you must be enjoying it, which is good to hear and good to know. So if you are enjoying it, do drop a like on the videos. Let us know you're enjoying it. And a lot of people asking if we're going to continue this sort of thing on into another save. Maybe we'll do it in a different team. Maybe we'll do a second season. I may well have mentioned this before, but I'm going to actually let you vote on that at the end of the series. Whether we carry on with Liverpool or we do a different team. And because I want to make this sort of style of series like a thing that carries on for a while now. So you know, I quite like doing it. It's quite, what's the phrase? It's quite relaxing. In a strange way, despite the way it's gone, it's quite relaxing. It's like therapy doing this. Okay then, what we'll do is actually quick pick the team, as it should put it back to what it was. Nearly puts it back to what it was. Doesn't actually play Klavan for whatever reason. We'll bring Klavan back in instead of Lucas, so I don't really want at the back, if I'm completely honest. It keeps Mane in there, which is not going to be something we're going to do. If Lallana's fit enough, Lallana is going to play. Actually, they've put Lallana in the middle, interestingly, and Coutinho on the left. Oh, that's because of the injury to Keita, of course. Well, that does change things a little bit then. Now, two options. We either bring someone like Wijnaldum in to play in a more advanced area and maybe switch him and Lallana around, have Wijnaldum in the centre. Oh, this is quite tricky. Or we play someone like Origi out there instead, who changes the dynamic quite a lot. I think Wijnaldum on the left might work slightly better. Of course, he plays centrally, but I'm sure he's played on the left before, especially maybe in Holland. I think he did that, so he might be used to it. I think what we'll do for both of them, though, is make them advanced playmakers. We might put 3 playmakers in behind Firmino up front. We'll see how that works. That'll be questioned if it doesn't work. But I think in terms of stylistically, that might be quite nice. We've got a lot of playmakers on the pitch, though, which could be dangerous. But we have got Firmino as that attacking central force, which is what we want. The bench looks okay. We're not going to put Mane on it because I don't think I'm going to bring him on. In fact, actually, I might bring him on. So we'll put him on there. Right then, into the games we go. Middlesbrough at the opposition. Can we get another important win? This is now an interesting game, though, isn't it? Wins against Manchester United and Manchester City. This is the kind of game that we've struggled in. So how will we fare? I'm so nervous about this game. Against United and City, I was like, well, you know, it's not gone well. This probably won't go well. This is now a game where it's very similar to Liverpool in real life. This is the game that seemed like the bigger challenge all of a sudden. I'm going to say, though, a team such as ours should be winning this match without any problem at all. They don't respond immediately, but we'll passionately say there's a lot more to come from you, and I believe you've got what it takes, especially in sides like this. We've got to be picking up points. So, right, let's get into it. We're at home. It's at Anfield. The teams are out. We still haven't got any seats in the corners. I mean, maybe that's something to think about, expanding the stadium so we can have the corners filled in. That would look quite nice, wouldn't it? The officials look ready. We look ready. We're having a little chat with me over there. I've got a nice red tie on, as you can see. Right, Middlesbrough, decent-ish side, defensively pretty solid. This season, I don't know if you can see how many goals they've scored or whatnot. Their goal difference, though, of -6, is probably actually not as good as I'd expect it to be. I thought it would be a little bit better than that. Defensively, they've always seemed pretty solid in the Premier League. So we'll have to wait and see. Right, 36 minutes gone, by the way. Nothing's happened at all. I wonder now then if we've got a case of too many cooks in behind our forward line. And actually, we'll change that up straight away. We'll change we'll change Wijnaldum and Lallana both to inside forwards, have them cutting in from either side. We've not really penetrated at all so far. I mean, actually, I say that. Pause it there. So far in the game, I mean, that's annoyed me, Oxlade-Chamberlain. Essentially, what I was going to show you before I was rudely interrupted by Oxlade-Chamberlain is that we've had a lot of shots. And are we going to turn those shots into chances? No, we're not. So far, as you can see here, 16 shots to Middlesbrough's 1, 64% possession. I mean, what do you change? I took it off. I took off the playmakers and made them inside forwards. But in reality, actually, we were creating a lot. We just weren't seeing highlights. It's the sort of game where if we had extended highlights on, it would look like we were far more dominant, just not taking our chances. In fact, let's take a look then. Where were the shots coming from in that first half? So actually, we're running quite a lot of long shots, which suggests we're not really working it into the box because we're just willing to shoot from distance. Wijnaldum's had a couple, Henderson's had one, Coutinho's had one as well. This is interesting though, because based on the personnel out there, it might be worth doing that for this game in particular, working the ball into the box a little bit more. We'll put it on for now. We'll see if we can create a more clear-cut opportunity in the second half. If not, we will have to make changes, probably bring on Mane and risk him, despite the fact he's not fully fit. Second half underway then. And again, it might be a game that we continue to struggle in. You'd think, with the personnel out there, we've got more than enough to beat Middlesbrough, but so far, that's not been the case. As we've got about half an hour to go, nothing coming so far. I mean, again, dominating the game overall. They've had one shot, Middlesbrough. So you would expect that we'd be able to find a goal from somewhere. In fact, we'll go more attacking. I probably should have done that way earlier when I think about it. 10 minutes to go. We'll get Mane on as well for Lallana. Hopefully he can have a little bit more of an impact. We'll actually bring Origi on the left-hand side, change them both to wingers, and see if we can get them pushing on. In fact, Mane can go attacking as well. Middlesbrough offering very little. We'll do the same with Origi. We'll get them pushed right up We'll clear the ball to the flanks as well, get them involved. Hopefully we'll find ourselves a winner. 10 minutes to go. This is the story of our season. It really is. And you can't say we've not created. Here we go then. 5 minutes left. Nathaniel Klein's throw-in is intercepted, but it finds Henderson. Him and Shannon, acres of space. About 30 yards out, you'd say. Coutinho then, working it with Henderson into Firmino, who's come a little bit deeper. Shot from distance for Firmino. What a strike that is, by the way. Roberto Firmino does a little roll to celebrate. What a goal. I'm looking forward to watching this in 3 dimensions from behind the goal. That is an absolute stunner. Henderson, Coutinho work it nicely. They play it into Emre Can. I think. Oh no, sorry, plays it straight into Firmino, who takes one touch. The ball stops dead and just I mean, bang, doesn't he? He bangs it into the back of the net. Roberto Firmino, 1-0 Liverpool, and there might be more for us in this game. It's finally happened. It's taken an absolute age for it to happen. Mane finds Klein. Will there be a second in this game? Can we seal it here? The ball's knocked in. Mane's there, close range. It's a great save from the keeper. Pushed it against the post initially, and then the clearance comes in. Oh, hashtag scenes. My word, suddenly this game has come alive after little to nothing for large portions of it. 15 seconds to go. It looks as if we're going to win this one. Firmino's offside, but he won't care about that. A dominating performance from Liverpool. 651 passes completed. Well, I don't think we're not playing a possession-based tactic. We're on standard for a lot of it, then switch to attacking. I wouldn't consider this to be a really possession-based tactic. I really wouldn't. But even so, like, we've done really well. That's a solid win, and a win that some of you did not expect us to get, but we'll take it. That then is going to bring us to the end of this episode. We continue our unbeaten run all of a sudden. 7 games. It's looking more and more impressive. And yeah, 8th in the league table, and that's where we'll leave it then. We love with care. From me, Dr. Benji. Until next time, I'll see you again very soon. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like. If you want to see some more, subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.